Yeah, let's get into it. Let's drop in. First of all, our first off, our first question, which is really a four-part question. What is your name? What are your pronouns? Oh God, I'm blinking. Now I'm frazzled.
I should
What is
pull
your
up.
ethnicity? And
Okay.
who are you?
Who am I? Oh God, what's that? Now I'm frazzled. No, my name is Mahima Sehgal. I am, my pronouns are she, her. I am South Asian slash Desis in the house, and I am, who am I? An actor. I will fully own it. I'm an actor. Also have been directing of late when how your life sort of Saturn returns and then you reevaluate certain things, and directing has been something in my list of things that I identify as professionally.
That's amazing. But an actor first and foremost.
Yes, leaning in. That's what's I came here to do. So fully owning up to it. No hiding behind anymore.
There we go. Me too. I'm also owning up to being an actor. Guilty as charged. We love that.
Eh.
And you grew up in New Delhi, as I was reading
Yes.
on your website. What first sparked your interest in acting? What sort of was the first, I don't know, moment or moments or experiences that made you kind of realize this is what I want to do, this is my dream, let's go for it?
Oh God. I mean, I oh God, sixth grade, sixth grade. So I was really bad academically, and that's not really the reason why I chose acting. It's just that in India, at least the way the society that specific society, which is also a privileged society, I would like to make that very clear. Is your worth is sort of measured in accordance to academic worth, because just it's a growing economy, growing country, and what can you bring to the society is like through your achievements in class, which I didn't have at
Mm.
all, and it was totally fine. And I felt like I was not doing much with my education. I wasn't like contributing to the society, if you will. And my teacher, bless her, Mrs. Mitra, and I will give her the name Mrs. because those are those teachers who we really need to celebrate and
Hmm.
talk about, who excite that spark in you. Like, why don't you try street theater? You're clearly, you have some things to say and you have energy. You want to be in this space. You want to contribute. Why don't you try street theater? So it started with street theater, where we would perform for people in slums of Delhi, essentially,
Mm.
and we would sort of talk about social issues, but make it into like plays. And I got like the most intense scene, in Atlantic acting, we call this the breakdown scene, where I had to cry because I'm
Mm.
like a child who is forced into child labor. Like that's the kind of
Mm.
like social issue we were tackling with it. So I had like obviously no technique, nothing, but it was just the fact that I could like go there and it just sort of and have an impact, or sort of was more freeing, and something that which married two of the causes that I love, is like art and activism. It was just like the perfect enmeshing of molecules, and that's how it began.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Can I can I just ask you out of curiosity, because I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, still am
Yeah.
today. Somebody like you who does so many things and is, in my opinion, such an overachiever. Why were you a bad student in your mind?
I guess the bad
Because I was as
student.
well.
Interesting. Yeah, and that's the thing. I wasn't really a bad student because I'm also an educator. So
Hmm.
yeah, we're like, I think academically, God, I think the school I went to and the society, and I specifically say society because, in Delhi, there are like pockets of societies, if you will. And I think that's like, in a better word would be communities, or like, um, class. I'll throw it in there. So there's a certain expectation that you have to be type A, and like good student means like getting certain percentile overall average. It's not, there's no average situation, because in order to get to good school, it's not about money, but it's like you have to reach a certain number, certain average to be able to. And of course, money is a thing, but no one talked about it. And everyone is raised as like type A, and which is I think I'm not type A. Like, and it's just very interesting that I could not, but I was told, I was conditioned to believing that that's the goal. That's how you should be. Why aren't you like that?
Right.
Not by my parents, I will clarify that, but like the people around me. And I grew up in a joint family. So it's just the stimuli that I was receiving. And I was told that I wasn't good enough academically because it's measurable. It's like, oh, you failed in, or you got like, out of 100 you got 70, which is not bad, but it's not the type A number. So that's what gave me the information that I'm not good academically. And also the way education was, at least in my time, I'm not sure, I haven't been to India in a while, so I hope things are changed, but it was mostly focused on rote learning, just getting things like a parrot system. I call it the parrot system, to memorize, spit, which I'm like, what? Yeah. So what about you?
I mean, I kind of, that kind of resonates with me. Just the system didn't sort of work for me. That's interesting. You talk about the type A-ness of, I guess,
Yeah.
traditional forms of education. I, of course, I have no idea exactly the system that you grew up in, but yeah, I think for me, I guess in cruder terms, I sort of recognize all the bullshit around me, and I was like, I'm not into that. I'm not doing that. Like, I want to go home and I want to go outside and I want to take a nap and then I want to read a book and I want to watch a movie, and I think I
Right.
should be able to do that, and I don't want to do my homework. And
Yeah.
all of the sort of anxiety that I think we kind of implement into our kids at an early age to really, they need to be the best, they need to be the fastest, the highest, the hardest working. I mean, I burned out at age 12, and
Same.
there was no way to get me back until I got to college and I started doing theater, and I was like, now I can work my ass off because I feel like this is going to pay off in some way.
Oh,
So,
wow. Absolutely. That's,
yeah.
where did you go to college here?
It's called Trinity University. It's in San Antonio, Texas. Little small
Nice.
university down there in San Antonio. Yeah, and again, I would say from my experience, like that, that's coming from a place of privilege. The fact that like I knew that like I didn't feel like, and being a man, honestly,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't have to be the best and the biggest star to have like a life, to cultivate a life for myself. But I just saw that I was good at other things aside from being the best student, and that I was probably not gonna be somebody who was gonna go right into like a tech job or a business job or be a doctor or a lawyer. So I was like, I
No,
kind of don't,
right.
you know.
Right. And that's what in India we have this, in high school, you have three, after 10th grade, there's this board exam. There's this thing called board examination, kind of like the A levels. And I think the preparation for the board exams is what sets up like that South Asian, like, oh, these people can do this, so they can
Yeah.
hence, and the whole school life of every South Asian student, at least not for my niece, she has a different schooling system, thank God. I mean, it traumatized me. It was like pure trauma. Like that's what we were setting up for. Hey, if you're not good in this, what will you do in board? If you don't do good in your board, you're a terrible human being. Because we would have phone calls from our cousins, like who are like 8 years older than me, who did give their board exams, and the result coming up, and this is something I should write about. Like, there's like Netflix shows about Indian matchmaking, and the pressures from family, but you don't know about the pressures of the board exam. Like every aunt that you haven't heard from in like 5,000 years is going to get that call, and you have a landline, so you can hear that phone ring quite pronounced, and they're like, "Arey, kitne marks aaye? How much did Mahima get? Or how much?" And it was more about the pressure of like, which Hassan Minaj also talks about, log kya kenge, what will people say, that got me to, okay, I'll like just like memorize this like mathematical thing. I don't even know the workings, and I'll just like spit it out.
Yeah.
And so we had 10th grade board exams, the worst experience. I can still retrace some of my trauma back to
Yeah.
that. And it's also like, especially for Indian male students, because that's kind of like setting them up like, hey, if you don't do well in your board exam, you won't get into this engineering school or business school. And then, how will this look on your arranged marriage report? Like, sorry to be so blunt, but that's what it
Yeah.
says, that some of the matrimonial advertisements will say this guy or this girl got 95 percentile or 98.
Wow.
And I did succumb to that pressure. Now, 10 years fast forward, 10 years later, I'm like, please don't do it. But in that moment, the way you're waiting for those results, even though I knew I'm not even going to get into tech and business, I just wanted to do it because of the conditioning and the pressure. And again, it was my
Totally.
privilege that I didn't have to do it for my family. I mean, I could get into an arts degree, which I ended up getting, but still I'm like, I need to get this percentage, which, yeah, trauma.
Yeah. No, yeah, that sounds extremely intense,
Yeah.
but I guess luckily now look at us both living in our passion, hopefully.
Living after a global pandemic. What else did our generation go through? Global pandemic,
Just
recessions later,
all these
creating
things.
art, trying to make this planet beautiful somehow.
Somehow, and we're doing our best, and you're doing great work, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But I
Yeah.
also want to talk to you about so you on your website I was reading about I read your artistic mission, which I thought was really nice and beautiful. You talk about how a lot of the work that you want to do that you've done in the past is sort of based in the immigrant experience, your experience coming to this country, etc. So
Yeah.
obviously this is a huge question, but what was that experience like, and how has it shaped your both your artistic lens and sort of your artistic goals?
Wow. It's sometimes, again, I think this is a question that I'm dealing with in therapy too. Hey, therapist, it's just like, why did I make this move here? Because a lot of people who come here, they're very like extenuating circumstance, and I do think I had that big push to come here, but and that reason has sort of like I've healed out of that, so it's fine. But then while I'm in therapy and I was like navigating, like, what is this experience telling me? Like, what am I really? And my therapist said that moving continents, that's what it was quite literally, it can be a traumatic experience for the body, like, and you don't even realize that. And it's, I think for me, with the stories and like just the art I want to create is not like poor immigrant had no like economic life or had to make this journey. It is that,
Yeah.
and it's very true for many people. But for some people, it's literally about finding themselves. And I'm going to sound so cheesy, but like I don't think I would be a human being right now, just as a human, not even as an artist or like just as a person on earth. And I don't believe in reincarnation, so if I have this one life, think I had to do this just for the growth aspect of it. Because going back to our points about conditioning, the way society raises us, like that's not the only way of existing. There's another way of existing, and traveling, and like if I could recommend, like everyone should like live somewhere that's not their home, like once at least in their life.
Yeah.
And I'm still on that journey. So I don't know what part of the hero's journey that, if you will, where's our friend Joseph Campbell, what that means. That's on a macro level, something that I've been navigating or thinking about. But in terms of storytelling and the immigrant experience, we keep seeing stories about struggle, which is very real. And I think that's what my initial work has been, about capturing that. But it's also about the celebration and the absolute mind-blowing discoveries one makes on this path about themselves, because you don't really know who you are until you've really met with certain like amounts of challenges. And I think uprooting yourself and creating, I don't even know if I'm there yet of creating a name. I don't think that's the goal, but like creating an existence for yourself in a completely new landscape is will introduce you to you in such a capacity that you could never imagine theoretically. Like it's in the doing. And I want to kind of sort of capture that through my work. I just don't know how. And of course, there's like those stereotypical shows that you watch. Sure, those are true. They're stereotypical for a reason, but
Yeah.
there's so much more in the journey. Like, I mean, for me, culture shock was not like, oh, people can make out here outside on the street. I don't see that in India. Like, come on, no, that's not culture. Culture shock is just something as banal as Duane Reade on 14th Street is selling a shampoo for $5.99, when meanwhile Duane Reade on 23rd Street is selling it for $8. Like the fact that, that's a culture shock to me. It's like, wait, you're the same store. Why are you ripping me off for like these $3? What's the science? And then you're suddenly introduced to capitalism in
Yeah.
such a like nuanced fashion, and you wouldn't have that experience, or like no one would really notice that living in New York in general, unless you're like an immigrant. You're like, that is bizarre. That's such a New York thing or an American thing. And Because in India, everything is MRP, like that's the basic price, and everything will be the exact amount. Yeah. Anyway, but that's just a specific thing which many people don't notice upon. But me as an immigrant, I'm like, oh, that's odd.
Yeah.
Or the fact that your landlords will just keep your heat on no matter how warm it gets, because they were told that you can never in winter have heating off, otherwise they'll get sued. I'm like, I'm boiling.
like today, like we're talking about today, when we get home and it's so hot in the apartment, open all the windows. Anyways, I'm glad we have a heating system that works. But like to what you're
Like
saying,
but then it's like punishment. They're like, oh, they told us that as landlords we're supposed to provide. Now we providing. And I was like, can someone please? I need some ice on my face.
And tenants are paying for it. You're paying for that heat. So congratulations, thank you.
Indeed.
Yes. Love New York. We love New York.
I do though. I do.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's. I find myself. I'm one of those people who like I go to a place and it's like one of these like overly romanticized places like Paris, New York, whatever, Machu Picchu, and I find myself that I love it more. I love it more than I thought that I would. It always fulfills my expectations, and I sometimes don't understand people who like don't absolutely simp for like a city like that, So I definitely feel that way about New York, and I know like it has many difficult and ugly sides as well, like any place.
But yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. That's another thing. As an immigrant, like New York made it worth it. The whole immigration, the whole spiel. Like you just enter JFK and you're like, pardon, I don't know how PG-13 this is, like shitting your pants because that immigration guy is going to look at you up and down. And you're like, oh God, oh dear God, please don't ask me if I'm pregnant. That's another thing. They don't want you to be pregnant. Oops, I don't know if I can say that. Oh. But then you go through that. It's literally the hero. I feel like I have lived Harry Potter or like Star Wars kind of journey through like just landing, through like security, immigration, and getting my baggage until you exit JFK into the yellow cab, and then you see the whole, after traveling a lot of Queens and Brooklyn or whatever that part of that town is, and then you see the skyline. It's quite, the reward is there, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Absolutely. And here we are. And I think to what you said also, which is so interesting, is that, like, uprooting yourself and living somewhere new can be in itself inherently traumatic.
Yeah.
I think I've thought about culture shock. I've spent many years living abroad as well. And I think culture shock can be the moments where you walk outside and you feel so, I don't want to use the word othered, especially being like an American living in other places where there's so much privilege again, but you just feel so just out of place in your body, and just like all of your molecules just feel misaligned for some reason. You don't really know why. It's a very weird sensation that's hard to capture. And then when you get home and you don't really feel that way, or like hopefully you sort of, I don't want to use the word assimilate. No, not assimilate, but you just sort of get used to that feeling. But it's very odd, and it's definitely an experience that people who live outside of their country, I think, share in certain ways. I don't know if that resonates with you at all.
Oh, deeply. Deeply. I'm going to India next month, April, in on April 28th. I think I'm this point in my life, I'm like quite literally, like I'm 75% now in America in terms of like now I can't do my dishes. I can't, like I can't do my dishes. I don't want anyone. And again, going back to privilege, like there's certain things about like I'm become so American in my behavior about independence. Subway, for example, or like right now after this podcast, I'm going to go out. It's not even like partying. It's not, I hate when people are late night, girls partying. No, just like I have a friend I'm meeting in like her apartment, like basic things, like the culture of it, like behavior has become so New York. I don't even know if I can say American, because America is huge.
Right.
And now that I'm going to be going to India, and I just don't know. Even though I'll slip right into the language, right into the behavior, right into the uncle aunties, the titles of it all. But the behavior thing is like my body. It's kind of when you're going at warp speed, and then you stop, and then part of it you feel like your body is behind you, hasn't caught up. And I think that's where I am at. Like I don't think I'll be. And it's very interesting, and I wonder right now it's 75%, and when will it get to 100%, and what would that look like? I don't know. It's so.
Yeah, that's
Freaks
yeah.
me
It
out.
changes you. Yeah, and that is. I don't know if scary is the right word, but that's something like that change. It's really profound,
It is.
and it's sort of like humbling in certain ways, and in a lot of ways. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
humbling. I hope I would rather it be anything but entitled because that's my biggest fear. Like I go and I'm like, I know it all. I am the. I don't want to become that, and I think I do. But it's interesting. It's not like, oh, I'm so advanced because I have an iPhone. No, everyone has iPhone in India. It's more
Right.
like my conflict in my brain is like we have help in India, and that's like such a part of like the whole societal like framework. And growing up, I did too. But like saying help in New York now, my brain's like, oh my god, rich people, da da da. But I was like, no, it is privilege, but then also the fact that it's such a part of like every household's like framework, at least the
Right.
household that I grew up around with, and predominantly middle class Delhiites. And I just now I don't know how to deal with that. I just can't. I was like, no, I can't deal with it in a way that's beneficial to the society. Like I sound more like, oh my god, privileged girl is talking about protect the people, like labor, but like I know, oh god, it sounds so like my brain is like farting at the moment, just
No,
like even
no, no.
thinking about it. Because I
Yeah.
can do my dishes. We all like in New York, we all like can go across 5 blocks and do our laundry, and then I go to India, and then if I say that, hey, let me do my dishes, it will see more as in like I'm causing offense,
Oh,
even though I'm coming from a place of care and independence. Anyway, I hope
yeah.
that makes sense. Those are the kind of stories I want to like
Yeah.
talk about, but it's not even clarified in my head yet. Like, how do I put it on script or, yeah.
No, I think it's so interesting. Like these deeply nuanced experiences that are
Yeah.
so difficult to even recognize in yourself when you're experiencing them. But then when you have those moments of being like, oh no, this is something that I've experienced. It's like you want to share that, and I think those are stories that should be told. And segueing into Illyria now, which is this profound story.
Segue.
Woo! Yes. We
Woo!
love a good
Nicely
segue.
done.
Thank you,
Nicely
thank you,
done.
thank you. I was planning that one in my head. This profound immigrant story, which is so nuanced, dealing with so many different, I feel like, themes of loss and I don't know, conflict, and not just profound loss of like culture, but loss of like yeah, I guess connections to the past. I was sort of getting from that, which is kind of I feel like what we're talking about right now, and I want to get your sort of experience on just working on that show and how it was for you, and what are you most proud of, and what are you most taking away from that entire experience? And it was a great show,
Wow.
might I
Oh,
add.
thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. And I really appreciate people showing up and watching stories, which, one of the reviews, I don't read reviews. That was one thing that was told to us by a behavior that was a gift actually given to us by some of our senior actors, which I appreciate. Like, don't worry about what the people are saying, especially like
Cool.
a story that's so specific. But one
Right.
of the quotable things, which I think might be here, like stories that are usually not seen on
Right.
New York stage. And that got me thinking because, when we say, oh, these unheard stories, and it means like the stories have to have like the biggest, payback, like the Slumdog Millionaire. Those are the only
Right.
stories that one must see. And I was like, no, they can be nuanced, they can be subtle, they can be like not loud. And those stories have the same right as any other story to exist, especially on American stage, because, like the story is somehow like inspired by real events, like real people. And not everyone's hero's journey, oh god, I have said this hero's journey 5,000 times, but has to go through a hero's journey in their life. It can look so different from yours or mine, and it's okay. And those are still stories because audiences or like people, especially like people like me, I haven't, done the most exceptional, I haven't taken up the most exceptional journey in my life. I've just done things that I think are heroic. And, when I see such stories reflect, I'm like, oh, wow, someone noticed me, you know? Um, But yeah, so Illyria, and so when people show up for it and really come watch a story like this in a very predominantly white theater, it means a lot. Not just for like the numbers of it or the business side of it, just like Deepa Purohit, the playwright, one of her first meetings with the marketing team was like, I really want the audience to be like 50+% to be people of color.
Right.
Like we talk about, I want to see diversity on stage. She's like, I also want to see it in the audience.
Yeah.
Not just because I would in any way will help with the 60. I mean, the biggest critics were the brown people. I will say are my desis, which as they should, and that's how you kind of. That's the kind of dialogue Deepa wanted to encourage and have. It's not, and she wanted the audience to be mostly people of color, which I'd be curious to see what the numbers are. But it felt good when people understood certain things. Even the language, if there were some dialogues that were not in English, they were in Gujarati, which I also don't speak. But just the fact that people could pick up on that and understand with the rhythm just was such a beautiful experience as an audience member. Sorry, what was your other question? I need specific. I can talk monologues about Illyria because it was one of my most favorite experience. So.
Yes. No, like what, I guess that was what you're most proud of. What are you sort of taking away from that experience? I guess like what did you maybe learn about yourself as an artist? What did you learn about maybe creating these kinds of works that you want to create? Because I'm imagining Illyria felt very personal to you. Yeah, so I guess what did you learn from the entire experience?
As an actor, I learned that and I mean it in a best possible way, like that's not about you, which I think every actor needs to, like, we know it, like a business teacher tells you, like, it's not about you, but like being in it, you're like, oh, you're part of something so big, which is like humbling, but also has its own little, if you really want to measure your importance in this world, is like, oh, I'm part of something big, as opposed to I am big. Which I always feared about certain, like, established actors might have, which I'm so happy that was not the case. And I had the privilege of working with some of the actors that I've always been admiring of their work since I was a student at Atlantic. I used to get tickets to see their shows, and now I'm getting to work with them. So I was just like, I was really nervous. I was trying to be all, I'm going to be very professional. I'm going to be my agent this, my agent that. And then the first read-through happened. Everyone broke into Hindi. Everyone's like talking about samosas. I was like, we just became like these humans. Like, oh my God, finally I can just like relax my jaw and speak in Hindi. Or like, even though they didn't understand Hindi, but they've heard their parents speak in that. So they know, oh, Mahima's angry if she's going in off her. That's how I like just go off, and they could understand. We played like Bollywood music backstage.
That's awesome.
We made like some TikToks on like Bollywood songs because I want to make TikToks, but no one understood like some of my Desi songs that I enjoyed. They understood. They knew exactly the steps. And not everyone had like similar religious background, but I have a background in like more spirituality, like doing not Reiki, but like just little chants, which I'm very sensitive to, and I don't want people to think that I'm trying to convert them into a cult. But I'd be like, hey, all, if I did this, would you be on board for it? And they knew exactly what part of nation it came from. They're like, yeah, let's do it. I didn't have to do the explanations, like these little things, the rituals of it all, because theater is nothing but a big ritual, and especially this theater, as you saw, is in the round. It was, everyone understood the vocabulary. I didn't have to. I mean, of course, I had to put on like some sort of like actorly, like, okay, I'm an actor, it's business, I have to have certain behavior, which I respect. And I think one of the reasons why I do theater in New York is just the professionalism and the rules of it, and the fact that everyone's, coming here for a sole purpose. And but then at the same time, I didn't have to explain my intentions, because everyone kind of knew, like, oh, I know that behavior, I'm familiar with that behavior. Or, okay, Mahima is stretching, she's talking about this Bollywood actor, and I know exactly why she thinks he's amazing. Like, I didn't have to explain that, hey, he did this film, and in this film he did that. No, it's like, oh, I've seen that film 5 times. I was like, amazing. So that, but then working as an artist, as an actor in the industry, it's so much like, my God, it's so not about you. And it was truly one of the best, just so reassuring. do the work. There's a saying in Hindi, karm kar, phal ki fikr na kar. Do the work, don't worry about the fruits of labor.
Okay.
And that's honestly, if all the actors could just focus on, okay, this is your blocking, this is your light, wear your costume, be loud and heard. Simple. We could just be so happy with this profession if everyone just understood that. But really being in it and realizing so much is out of your control. There's so many things that can go out of your control, and it is totally okay. Was refreshing, and I really I'm grateful that I got to experience that and learn from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so awesome, first of all. And that's just like so like that vibe and that community that y'all created. I mean, I was at your rehearsal, so I saw that happening. But you could see it in the show.
Yeah.
You know? You could see it in that first moment with like the celebration, the party, which was amazing. Like that was so much fun and really set the tone for like what the show is going to be. Like we're going to see some heavy stuff. It's going to be real. It's not, you know, it's not always going to be comfortable perhaps, but it's going to be a celebration of people, a celebration of culture, a celebration of humanity. And
Right.
that's so interesting that you say that, because it's just like, God, like representation is important, not just because like you're talking about, so we can say that like, you know, we see stories from around the world of different, of, you know, BIPOC folks getting to tell their story, but it's also like giving a space for like also like BIPOC artists to like create community with themselves and be able to come to a space and just be like, yeah, like we get each other, we know we have all this like cultural competency because we're from the same place and we have all these shared experiences and we get to create something together, you know.
Right.
Like that's such a thing that I think we overlook. It's not always about like just the product of creating the piece of art that we can say, oh, representation. No, it's also like the journey of getting there for folks to really like enjoy each other and really like gain something from that experience. That's awesome. I don't want to say I'm jealous, but I'm jealous.
But I'm nervous because I've experienced this is my first off-Broadway thing, and I'm like, oh shoot, now that's the standard now for me. Because for opening night, everyone showed up in there. You know, in opening night, if it was any other play, I would still wear a sari, but I would be like, I'm making a statement. Here it was like, duh, we're gonna wear like our clothes that we celebrate in, because it's a celebration, but we're wearing a celebratory clothing because that's what we do for a wedding, for anything. So it was and it wasn't even something that we had to be like, hey guys, do you want to do that? It's like, duh, like, hey, could you tie my sari? Like the backstage we had Gautami, who's like a costume supervisor, and she used to work in Bollywood, and she started working here, and this was her first off-Broadway, like her venture into theater, and the first off-Broadway play she does is like of this, and her skill is like in tying saris and like knowing exactly how the blouse needs to be, and just having that also in terms of representation, just like someone understanding how things, the pleats have to be, and not her getting the job because of her skills in general in costumes, because she has this amazing resume, but also like this was such a gift for us. I'm like, oh, this can happen in American theater backstage, green room, you know. And of course, I don't think Linda Gross has ever smelled of so much garam masala and turmeric, and we had like all the foods and the sweets, and I was like, and everyone was enjoying it. We also got to celebrate Holi outside Linda Gross. It's a festival of colors. And many people didn't celebrate. They've never got to experience that, but they've heard of it in the cast, and they were like, this is my first experience, and that also outside the theater. So going back to your point about community and being able to, because that takes just that relaxation of it, that, okay, this is sort of, I don't have to do or have to pretend to be, and I don't want to say that I'm pretend with actors who are not of the diaspora, and that's not what I mean, but there's there's an ease. Yes. And that's taken care of. I don't know what that is. It's just felt like anytime I entered the space, that thing is taken care of. I can just now focus on acting.
Yeah.
Which was just, there was this ease, and I don't know what that ease means. Like maybe I didn't have to take care of some things, and I don't know what I take care of in a non-Illyria like cast-like situation. I don't know what that thing is, but it just felt, okay, they'll know. And maybe even something about like my hair oil, like everyone, they know the smell of this hair oil, they know it's going to be pungent.
You don't have to explain yourself.
Something as simple as that, which was just, and then I was like, and now I can act, because okay, let's just act now.
Dang, that's awesome. And it's just like the thing about it's the beautiful thing and sort of the brutal thing about this life that we live and this work that we do is that we have an amazing experience like that and it can only last for so long, and
I
then
know.
it kind of ends. You always have, we always keep the memorabilia and stuff, but it's like, dang, you kind of, I've been on shows where I'm like, I want to keep this. I want to work with these people forever. And I never want
Oh,
to
I know.
ever work on anything else ever. But, you have to
Yeah.
just keep it going. And there will be many other amazing, hopefully, there will definitely be many other amazing productions for you out there. And
Please.
yes, yes, it's going to happen. We're manifesting it for sure. And speaking of which, another amazing segue into the
Ooh.
fact that you have your own production company, L2G
Yes.
Productions,
Little
and
Lost Girl Productions. Little
okay,
L2G, that's why it is called L2G. Yeah.
wonderful, amazing. And y'all do films and I guess shorts, and yeah, just talk to me about first of all, like how do you do that? Like what goes into
Oh
doing a
God.
film, making that the hours all the time, and yeah, just what has that experience been like?
Hard. I will be very honest. It's hard. It's called Little Lost Girl Productions. It's with my co-star. No, like I went to Atlantic, with Atlantic you formulate these bonds. So Gabrielle Atkins, she is the best human being ever. Literally, that's all I can say about her. She and I worked the company show. I was a stage manager. She's the director. And I think the best way to find out who your person is like see them be the stage manager and not lose their shit. And then you're like, okay, this person's my person. So I think that's how Gabby and I connected. We were like a handful of people of color in the program. But, I mean, we loved our group, we loved the program, but we were just kind of like, okay. And we had she's been to India. We just connected on so many things. And she is an excellent writer, and she taught herself how to make a film, camera. She loves lighting, and she did this whole research about how the traditional movie camera is the lens. Literally, the lens is such that makes people of color look ugly,
Right.
for lack of a better word. Like the light, and then so she taught herself how the art of lighting, and she was really deeply inspired by Issa Rae,
Yes.
and how in Insecure the lighting, there's a
Yes.
whole vocabulary. So she taught herself that. I'm not that technical person. My sister is. My sister is actually a film editor, so they are the tech. I don't understand the whole mechanics of things, but it fascinates me. And I'm more about getting people together, crew, and just writing stuff, thinking about ideas and stories. So we've have bunch of, again, going back to the immigration story, that's something that really inspired Gabby about this journey. Be like, the fact that you see this world in such a specific way is so
Mm.
fascinating to me.
Mm.
And the fact that, you go to JFK and you're worried that they'll think that you're pregnant, and you're like one of the most, like like you look like a kid. So she's like, well, let's write about that. So there's a lot of writing, there's a lot of thinking, but then it's hard is it's so grassroots, so basic. It's so like we fund our own projects, and so we fund our own projects, and we set it up on Film Freeway, and then we pay for those projects to go on festivals. So it's a lot of money, and money is, especially as to women of color, especially someone with like very limited means, it becomes very hard. And I think we're still navigating the fundraising aspect of things, about asking people for money, to be
Right.
honest, and like what that looks like, because we have equipment that we've invested in, we have scripts galore, like so many ideas. And Gabby really wants to get into documentary as well, which is another beast of its own with
Right.
the funding. So just navigating that, and the hours that go in, and it's with New York, with Survival Job, with wanting to continue acting, because acting, as you know, is a muscle. You need to flex that muscle
Yeah.
every so often, because once, let's say, HBO picks up your pilot, and they're like, who do you want to be, who should be the lead, and you're like, duh, me. And they're like, okay, can you audition, can you act? And then you're like,
You're like,
oops.
no,
Because
not ready.
that's yeah, and that's something in COVID I realized. Because if you're out of practice, it's so hard. I'm an actor, but I actually had to question myself: am I an actor? Because I couldn't do. I mean, for valid reasons, we were all in lockdown, so it's a collection of things, and there's so many moving parts, and you have to be very. On a micro level, there's so many moving parts, and then on macro levels, there's so much life happening, immigration, COVID, and stuff. So really hard, but something that I'm one of the like proudest of like achievement wise in New York, because my goal would be to have like a full on production company where I could
Right.
have immigrants working only, not only, but just like, oh, this is a place where I will not be turned away because of my visa status or my passport status. Like, oh,
Yes.
they know. It's not, no, it's like, okay, it's like my skills will be looked at before my passport. It's so important to me.
That is so important, and
Yeah.
I think that's amazing, and I just so admire just the drive to be like, fuck it. Yeah, we can curse.
We can curse. Yay. Okay.
Like let's make a production company. I think that's so badass, and that's awesome. I very much look forward to seeing what projects you have coming up and whatnot.
We tried podcast too, it didn't succeed, but it's okay. That's sort of, you learn things. We tried things. We tried equipments. We tried, but again, I admire you doing this and like getting artists together, and we have
Yeah.
projects, and we only work with actors who are within the community, and just kind of have that shared celebration of an experience, because that's what it is. It's all a ritual. It's all, if you don't work
Yeah.
with people you like, then what's the point?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
And you got to
That's fair
have
enough.
platforms, and you got to create your own platform sometimes. You can't rely
Yeah.
on the establishment to lift you up. Sometimes, I think those are the most, I think, impactful lessons that I've learned from doing this podcast and talking to folks is like, yeah, you gotta lift yourself up, and you gotta give yourself that space and that shine. Yeah, definitely.
Stunning, stunning,
Yeah, but
absolutely.
I wanted to ask you, since you brought up your Atlantic, I guess, co-founder, about that experience, because we're both Atlantic actors. I guess in a nutshell, what was that experience like? How did it help you grow as an artist? What have you taken from that whole thing of
School,
being
the whole schooling. Oh gosh, it's like kismet, the word kismet that is thrown around on Instagram so much, but actually kismet, like it fate. And I just don't say it just because I am. There's some things that you just know you have to do it. And Atlantic was, I wanted to go to an NYU undergrad. But the thing is, my dad, I love this person, and I'm so happy he said no to me, because he's like, you already have a degree. Why do you want to go get a degree and then be in debt?
Right.
Why is there, he's like, I have nothing against you going across these seven oceans, but like, is there any other way where you get there and are not poor straight off? And I was like, okay, I'll do research. And the given circumstance of my life was like, I had to leave India in 2013. It was just life. I had to leave Delhi. I was like, I can't do this. I have to leave. So a lot of MFA programs, deadlines were gone. And I honestly find those MFA auditions to be so, especially for internationals, so repulsive. There, I
Ooh.
said it. It's just, I don't know what you're doing. Like, are you genuinely interested in my art or creativity, or you just want to check mark? I have thoughts. I haven't done enough research yet on those, but, and then the fact is that every application fee is like $100 or whatever,
At least, yeah.
non-refundable. And then you could do the first round, and then for second round you need to come meet us in person. And I was like, visit visa is like $200 a pop to like, and then I have to, and then airfare, and then only for you to say like, what is all this decoration? I have so many. That will be another L2G production to be TBD.
Oh, they make you fly in?
Because it has to be in person, and that's the funny thing about
Dang,
COVID.
that's crazy.
Now everything is remote.
Yeah.
Oh, you need a global pandemic to thought. That's another podcast. That's like, if you have
Yeah.
a dark, deep 2 a.m. podcast, which we can do, I can go off all about.
I'd love
So
to
it
hear
was
about
just,
that at some point. Yeah.
yeah, it's just instinctually just felt like, okay. And still the program, except for like when I was applying, only one school did full ride. Everything else was still 200K at least. So I did some research, and I saw that there are a bunch of studios. So, NYU has Stella Adler, Lee Strasberg, Atlantic. So I applied for all of those studios because they had a conservatory program. And honestly, I needed something that was full-time, like 5 days a week. I didn't want to do anything academic, because why would you? At that point, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to stay. I just, like, if I'm going to America, I just want to be focused on acting. So, and my training was 30 hours a week. That's what I signed up for, because I wanted to be like just busy, because it also helps with homesickness.
Right.
That when you're just like busy in the work. And something I did, I asked, I have some friends of friends who work in LA or who work here, and I just did a lot of research. I don't go by the whole alumni thing because I was like, I don't look like half the alumni of half these schools, so what am I even looking at here? It doesn't matter to me. But I was just fascinated by the story of the theater and the way it came about, and like going back to creating platforms. That's how Atlantic, it was out of NYU students building a theater just to give themselves work, and now it's created some of the most beautiful, like English, and now Illyria, like the plays that I really look up to. So there was something about the grit of it that I just felt pulled towards, and I also had like this really deeply red blanket at the time when I was on my laptop researching, and the Atlantic symbol is also red. It was just very like the colors. I'm a very symbolic person, as you can tell.
Yes.
So it just was, and I went here. And Atlantic's the only school, by the way, which fans of English, and as a fellow English fan, test of English as a foreign language. It's a very real test, which is one of the another demeaning things that put me off of most schools is application fee, whatever, certification, la. And then if you're international, aka from third world country, you need to submit this thing called test of English as a foreign language, or IELTS. And that's like any school you're submitted to, it's like $40 just to send the test results. So, and that time, $1 is like 70 rupees. So the math didn't add up. And Atlantic was the only studio, I have to say, big shout out, that did not require that test.
Yeah.
And I was like, that tells me something. It's these little things that tells you like, oh, okay. And even to this date, that's the principle they have. And that's why they have a play like TOEFL, play like English up in the States. So like, it's really matching that frequency, which I really admired. Like in hindsight, when I thought about it, I was like, oh, that's the only school I didn't have to pay extra $40 to prove to them that I can speak in English, even though they did audition me live on Skype. It was Skype, and they could very well hear me talk in this tone. So yeah, and then I have found community. I have found people, Gabby, with whom I'm with L2G. All of them showed up for Illyria. My parents were here to watch Illyria, and Mary McCann and Neil also came and met them. We were having lunch around in Chelsea, and they're like, oh, we want to see your parents. And my dad remember dropping me here in Google building, and then dropping me in Linda Gross 10 years later. So it was just like a very beautiful, like kind of, I feel like there's a connective tissue here that I just vibe really beautifully with. What about you? Like, what about how was your experience, or in terms of if you match that?
Yeah, no, honestly similar. Yeah, I was applying to grad schools, and the money was just like a thing. Like I'm in my 30s. I'm like, I'm not trying to be 200K in debt at age 31, coming out of, or age, it would be like age 32 or 33, coming out of school, just to go and struggle to find work. So I got into some honestly pretty good MFA programs that I was proud to get into, and I said no. And I just kind of bet on myself coming here, and I was an evening conservatory student, so I was working the entire year and just doing the thing, and now we're out and we're going for it. So that's kind of, it just to what you're saying, it just aligned. It just felt like the right thing. I trusted my gut on it, and I think it was the right decision. I don't know if I want to say that. I was going to say I wouldn't trade this for even Juilliard. I don't know if I would. But I think to what, like, we're maybe a common thread in this conversation too, is like I've never been great at navigating just the academic sort of space and the system. I've always been a do-it-yourselfer, go and get it yourself. And so I like where I'm at now in having this community that I do and having the training that I do, and being like, I'm going to continue to work. I'm going to continue to do all of the little things, the podcasting, the TikToking, the networking, to sort of like climb the mountain and sort of like build my career. I actually I find it really exciting, and I really take a lot of joy in that. And even if I was at Juilliard right now, I feel like there was a part of me that would be really just thinking about like, but what if I was out there right now? And what if I was really trying to do the thing? I just like really am sort of enjoying like my life right now. And I have a day job too, which I really like. Yeah.
That is so important. That's another thing. Money, yes. Like
Yeah.
actors, there are some people who are privileged to have someone taking care of them. Good for
Hmm.
you. I admire you. Nothing against you, but that's something else that, as an immigrant or like as someone who's international and about to come into the United States, you don't realize. Like you sign up for the school, but then you also have to eat, buy plays, costumes, God, the decorations.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's you really touched upon a valid point about being. Are you
Yeah.
Sagittarius?
I am. Yes. Are you? Wow. Yeah.
I'm a Leo.
See.
No, no, I'm a Leo. I'm a Leo. I'm a Leo. I'm a Leo. But
Oh.
when you started talking about pioneer,
Yeah.
being all
Yeah. Oh God.
making your way, I was like, this guy is a Sag. See, I'm telling you, vibes. I'm also a
Cringe.
witch. I identify as a witch. Can I? Can I say
Wow.
that?
I really just gave myself up saying that. Yeah. No, I'm a Sagittarius down to a T, and I don't know a lot about astrology, these things, astrology, astronomy. Yeah, I don't know a lot about them,
Yeah,
but I
astrology,
know.
definitely.
Sorry, astronomy. What? Yeah, I wasn't good at school either. See.
That's not even education. I don't think that's not even a school. That's like a whole other play that must be written. But I knew when
Yeah.
you started talking about like making my own way, I was like, this is Sagittarius energy. Anyone watching, hearing here, astrology fan,
Yeah.
nailed it. And
Guilty.
I think your moon sign might be Scorpio. I don't know. That's another podcast.
That's another podcast, and I'll let you go here in a second. I just wanted to ask you, where do you envision your career going from here with
Oh my
both your
God.
acting and L2G? Um, yeah,
Oh my God, that's a loaded. Oh God. Goal would be, I mean, I really, really, really want to write a TV show. Like that's something I'm really a scariest thing to do is for me to write a play, which I
mm,
know I am so petrified, and I know that means I will not do it for another 3 years. But that scares the bejesus out of me. The fact that just being having my experience with new plays, and I really playwrights I think are my heroes, especially new plays, and they sit through and watch the whole
yeah,
process.
right.
So, but
Brutal.
that's a scary thing, and that's if I do that, then I think I've done it, like I've done something achievable in my life, but I'm very scared. But I really, oh God, I want to run a show so bad. Like that's something I feel in my bones. Like imagine just having this, yeah, just being on set and what that could from like cleaning from in to out and creating a space. Going back to your point about community and just like how things can be run and what kind of things are on page and how what is expected out of a showrunner and just like what I think a showrunner should do. Anyway, but that's such a Leo answer. Oh my God, I can't believe you made me. I sound like a
It's contagious. The
egomaniac.
narrative gets into your mind. You're like, I'm a Sagittarius. I have to say a brutally Sagittarius thing right now, or else it happens. Yeah,
Else,
it
how?
really
What's the
happens.
point? What's the point? How are you even a fire sign? That's what our element is, fire. FYI. So
Right, right. Anyways, I don't know what a Leo is, but I think you're great, and I think your career is going really well, and I'm so happy that you've been on my show today. Thank you so much for your
half the
time.
cast. Sorry, half the cast is Leo in Illyria. Okay, that's all. Okay, thank you.
Okay. I imagine that would explain a lot to a person who understood. But I will after we sign off here, I'll go and I will look that up and I will have the light bulbs go off. Oh, that makes sense. That makes
Please
sense.
do.
Yes.
I'm telling you, I'm giving you something. I'm giving you something really important here. Well, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for doing this
Hmm.
again, creating platforms, and it was just so lovely talking to you. And then, of course, for everything that you've done, and like for watching Illyria, for being such a help, and just yeah,
Thank you so
Atlantic
much.
community.
And thank you so much. We'll be in touch. Before you go, could we get your social media info and website so we could look you up
Sure, I
for
am
the
my
listeners?
yes. My Instagram is the Saigal, which is my last name, Saigal. That was just created to piss off some of my millions of Saigal cousins because I'm like I'm the Saigal. So, yep, I have that handle and I will never change it.
Love
And
it.
then my website is www.mahimasaigal.com. Which reminds me, I need to update it about Illyria information because actors we're running our own whole platforms and website is one of them.
Got to
So
keep the
yeah.